When facing the challenges of raising children, I have been forced to make countless decisions and face the consequences of those decisions. I did not realize how difficult parenting could be until I became a parent myself. As a boy and young man, I remember criticizing my own parents for what I thought were mistakes in their parenting. But today, I realized that their judgments were not what I thought them to be. I began to examine the different approaches people took to the task of parenting, looking for some sort of ideal to follow. It became an exhausting task, as I realized that finding an ideal approach is a complex endeavor. I was reminded of the advice by the Prophet's companion Ali: do not raise your children in the same way you were, for they have been made for a different time. What does he mean? Does he mean something like what Eckhart Tolle writes in his book A New Earth, where he describes how we can be parents without identifying ourselves through parenthood, without turning it into a role? My sense of being must not be derived in any part from my role as a parent, which results in exaggeration of this role. It may indeed lead to a shift in parents' role from a source of guidance to a center of control and domination. Many parents fall into this trap, becoming dependent on their children's own dependence and holding tight onto this role for longer than they should. I often smile when I hear parents say to their children, "I know better than you," even after their children are well into adulthood and have gained considerable experience themselves. The difficulty is that parents often see themselves as parents to their children and nothing else. So when their mature children disobey their wishes, they interpret this as disrespect and rain down a storm of criticism and reproach. In doing so, they plant seeds of guilt within their children, not out of malice, but in an unconscious effort to maintain their role. Why do they do this? It is the ego. When the role of parenthood gets absorbed into the ego, any threat to one is taken as a threat to the other. I remember my attitude toward my eldest son when he became a teenager and decided to grow his hair long. My initial response was to order him to get a haircut. But after I met with a parenting specialist, I came to realize that this command arose more out of my own insecurities than concern over his well-being. I saw my son as an extension of myself rather than a being. So I let it go to liberate him from the control of my own ego. A father's wishes for his children often come out in statements like this: "I want you to achieve what I couldn't in my life. I want you to become someone important and respected. But what they could subconsciously mean is, if you succeed in life, I will succeed as well. Don't let me down. I've given up a lot for you. And when the child's response is not in accord with parental wishes, like, I do not want to achieve what you did not in your life. I want to achieve what I was born to do. What makes me happy? This starts a dispute. Parents start to guilt their children in order to follow their wishes. Some parents go so far as to emotionally blackmail their children, using language like, "Don't you love me enough to do what I think is right for you?" Some parents even bring God on their side, reminding their children that it's a grave sin to disobey one's parents. As parents, we must realize that the thing our children need most from us is a genuine relationship. A relationship based on respect of their being. My children often need me to be with them as a friend, not above them as a parent. I realized I often focused my parenting on duties. Did you finish your homework? Did you pray? Did you eat? Important as these things are, I found that they are not enough. The most important dimension is being able to accept your children the way they are. To eagerly listen to them with passion and care. To be fully present for them with your mind, body, and soul. Your eyes tell them, "I see you." Your ears tell them, "I hear you." And your body says, "I value and respect you as an equal being." Perhaps this is what Imam Ali meant by saying, "Do not raise your children in the same way you were, for they have been made for a different time." How should children appropriately respond to parents who behave this way? Many psychologists advise that children not confront their parents. All you need to know is that it is your parents' ego speaking to you. If we can do this, the ego's ability to negatively affect our judgment disappears. This will allow us to accept our parents' behavior with grace, empathy, and stillness. This consciousness will liberate us from all the negativity lingering in our minds. This is what I must strive to do with my own son, to see him as an equal, True, I've lived much longer and have more experience than him, but this does not make me better than him. I must endeavor to make him feel that he is not just my son, but my friend. Allowing a genuine relationship to emerge. Love is the true presence, the real self in me communicating with itself in him. I found that the best kind of parenting lies in presenting oneself as a balanced role model. To do what you say and to say what you do, and to give the child enough space to grow, develop, and make decisions. An unbalanced upbringing is the main cause of narcissistic disorders worldwide, which has reached an epidemic level. The term has its roots in an ancient Greek story of Narcissus. His beauty was so marvelous that he fell in love with his own reflection. Staring obsessively at it in the lake one day, he wanted to touch his own beauty, so he jumped into the lake and drowned. In his place, the flower of Narcissus grew. How many narcissists spend excessive periods of time staring at themselves in the mirror? They are a product of an imbalanced upbringing and victims of the ego. Our children are in dire need of sufficient space to realize their dreams and sense of self. Our conviction that we are more knowledgeable than them may be true during childhood, but it becomes less true as they grow older. As they grow up, we should let them make many of their own discoveries, learn from their own mistakes, even if those mistakes might cause us or them some form of pain, for the fires of pain may set alight their consciousness. I decided to give my children enough space to realize what they were born to do. Our children come to this world through us, but we do not own them.